Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at Emerson College, Hollywood. I'm delighted to be joined with filmmaker Paula with her fantastic film, Shell Shocked. Let's take a look at the clip.
How was your appointment today? Did you go to speech therapy? Hey, did you go to therapy today? Really? When was the last time you went to the VA hospital? What treatment?
Thank you so much for being here and bringing your brilliant film for us as well, honestly.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the filmmaking family of New Filmmakers LA. For those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
Yes, so Shell Shocked follows the story of this combat veteran that has been back for 2 years. And he suffers from battle-induced stuttering, which is a form of PTSD. So he's been back for about 2 years without any solution or anything for him to get better. So he finds this controversial drug that it has been banned since World War II that has a possibility to cure him. So it's his journey into seeing that and trying to convince a family member to help him.
I'm so glad you made this film on so many levels because it really is a subject that we don't see enough about, and it's unreal that there are things that can help and support that have been banned, you know, I mean, it's insane. Where did the inspiration come for you in deciding to turn this, you know, idea into a film?
Well, you know, my lead actor, Evan Hall, he's a phenomenal, fantastic actor. And we met through this company, a theater company, The Lab, in New York, and we wanted to work together. So I was like, let's do something. And you know, I'm a big Scorsese fan, and I love Taxi Driver. So it has, if you actually look at the film, it has some inspirations from Taxi Driver.
I had that in my notes. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
You did
So-
good.
Thank you, thank you. Went to see my feature.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, so we wanted to work, and we talked about it, and I wanted it to deal with PTSD, but a different side of it.
Yeah.
Right? There's always about the war, so many things, but what about a solution to what
Yeah.
this is? So I wrote a first draft, in which I thought it was so great. It wasn't. First drafts. And so I kept doing research, and I came across Let There Be Light by John Huston, which was a documentary that he did, which he talked about sodium amytal, and they showed they were actually not actors, real veterans, going through the treatment and being cured. And so that inspired my film, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad again that you went across the solutions. You know, you kind of see the struggle, but you don't see how we can find a way to make this better and how we should be just automatically trying to make people's lives better that suffer from this, right?
Exactly.
In your experience, I mean, it was so great because this was part of a veterans program, which was so great to see so many talented people up there as well, but also you personally really been able to relate and maybe experience people that have had this, right?
Of course.
Yeah, and how was that? Did that any of that context that you've had from your experience help you with making the actual film itself?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I was an Army nurse.
Yeah.
So, and I deployed. I went to Iraq. So, even my training as a nurse, I was in BAMC, which is San Antonio, and I saw a lot of things. So, I witnessed so many things when I was in the service, and people actually told me things that happened to them. People would tell me things, and so that inspired, and that made me relate. And it's also loosely based on things that I saw. So yeah, it's loosely based on that. So I was able to relate, and I'm also a soldier, so I'm able to show my actors, especially my lead actor, like this is what the military does, or this is the exact book that you use.
Yeah.
I used my green book when I was in the service. So things that give you a level of authenticity that brings the reality into the film. So that my military background helped me with that.
I mean, it was wonderfully directed, you know, I mean, it really was, and your lead actor, like you said, I'm glad you found each other because, you know, he really did a great with the story. And obviously coming from all personal experience, people that you've met, everything else, and the great concept of the story that is, how do you as a director work with your actors to get to those heights? What's your kind of process?
Yeah, I love it. You know, I was an actor.
Yeah.
I'm doing it part time now. So, but I have a lot of training. I did a lot of Meisner training and
I love
all these
Meisner,
things.
yeah.
So I understand what it takes to go there.
Yeah.
And especially if you have an actor that has the chops and the willingness and the trust between director and actor, then you can take them there.
Yeah.
Also, I had great actors. My two leads, they're phenomenal.
Brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, Andrea Sawisky, she also played the sister. They both have roles in my feature. And, you know, they understand what the craft is.
Yeah.
So me coming in as a director from an acting background, we're able to speak the same language.
Yeah.
So it's all about trust and understanding and guiding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I love that you've obviously mentioned, because I was going to come to that as well, about some of your influences. Like, I was just in love with the way the film was shot, and the visionary behind that, and it looks so good on the big screen as well. The moments you left us in, the colors that you used, you know, the atmosphere, all just made you feel part of this, the way that you wanted us to feel in the film.
Yeah.
How was that process for you? How did you work with your DP, and what was that? What elements did you want to take into the film to bring it across how you wanted it to be?
Well, the DP that I use for this film, he has a very strong lighting background.
Mm-hmm. So good, the lighting.
Yeah, which I am I'm a very big Fincher fan.
Yeah, oh, I love Fincher.
So, you know, it has color. He plays with color. Well, a lot of directors do. So there are shots that I want, especially like right now I'm getting ready for my feature, so I'm writing everything down. But there's certain things that I want, and I speak to him. He actually was able, he's the first DP that was able to get what I had in my mind into the screen.
Oh, really?
He's the first one thus far. Yeah.
What I mean, what feeling is that like when someone exactly gets your vision? That must be.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah. It's great. It's great to have somebody that understands what you're trying to tell, and he was able to do that. Also, he understands acting.
Yeah.
So it's important for a DP to also understand that, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. And for you personally, coming from an acting background, having very great experience as an actor, does that play really well into just being able to work with actors as a director? Because obviously it's a different dynamic, but do you find being able to be in their shoes is helpful for you, right?
It is. It's very helpful. Sometimes I go through the process with them. Like if it's something that is deep and emotional, I do my best to like be there with them as well. Just because I was an actor as well. So yeah, it really, really helps me, and I really, really love actors. We really need them, and I love smart actors.
Yeah.
Smart actors that I can come to you and you tell me, and then we communicate and we elevate whatever that we have.
Yeah. And going back to the film itself, like I often feel like it's so hard for people that have, you know, served the country, and then for the families, how to relate, how to empathize, understand what one has experienced and gone through that has fought for their country. And that dynamic you had in the film was so good, you know, because I don't think there's ever enough that we can showcase what someone's gone through and how that can affect them. What did you kind of want your audience to take from your film, from your experience, either from the concept of itself or just as a cinematic experience?
I think, well, my main thing is to let people know there are alternative treatments for PTSD. That is the reason why, and the reasons why I'm making my feature, which deals with psychedelics, right? And I want people to know there are options, that there's not necessarily a pill is gonna make it better.
Yeah.
You have to go through what is it that happened. So that was one of my main things, and the other one, I just love cinema. So,
yeah.
you know.
You got them both well, so they're well done.
So I really love it. So I just want to paint. So
Yes.
so and just the influences of the directors that I admire, you know, all the great directors and that I study. So it's a combination of both, and making you want to watch it and be entertained somehow, but also give you some knowledge of what could it be, what can it be, right?
Absolutely. And what's the reaction been for you?
It's great. It's really great. People have been very, very touched.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people after I've screened in quite a bit states in the U.S. They feel it. They feel what I'm trying to say. They're interested.
Mm-hmm.
The response has been great. Very,
Yeah.
very good, I think. Yeah.
And I think even just the title itself, I think shell shocked is tend to that those words have been used as like past tense from like the world wars, for example. And I think it's highly forgotten that that word exists for modern day veterans that have fought in these last 20, 30, 40 years. Is that something that I don't even ever like thought about? Because I feel like the way maybe obviously we've learned a lot and grown a lot, but there's still like, I mean, you know, we're talking so much more about psychedelics now, about how that supports, you know, veterans, etc. And like, why have we not been doing this before? Like, you know, and do you feel there is kind of hopeful change?
Yeah. I've been in touch with a specific place that I want to go check out for my feature as well, as for myself and an understanding. Yeah, I was very upset. Sometimes I get upset when I do research and I find, because I come from a medical background, so I understand a lot of the terms and almost a lot of the things. I just feel like, there's so many reasons why these things haven't been approved.
Yeah.
So many reasons why there's a taboo behind it.
Yeah.
And also it has been banned.
Yeah.
So those, we need to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important, but also to understand that there's a solution. And it's safe, and it has been proven, and it's been done in not sodium amyl, but because sodium amyl, what it translates now is actually psychedelics, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's similar effects. So how other countries are doing it, and you have to leave the U.S. in order to do it. There's certain people that have been, certified here in the U.S., but mostly you have to leave. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just, as well as thank you for your service, but very much so, but also thank you for being such a wonderful filmmaker as well. I mean, you gave us a really great experience. I can't wait to see more of your films. So speaking of which, what is next for you, Paula? What's next going on?
So I am working on my feature film, which is my freshman film. It's my first feature. It's called Let There Be Light, and it's loosely based on Shell Shocked, with a use as a proof of concept. But Let There Be Light follows the story of a woman, of a female veteran, and she's in the risk of losing her freedom, and she hasn't been able to adjust to society, and it's her life and her journey into finding a psychedelic treatment that leads her to go to Tijuana in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And we get to see what happened to her.
Yeah.
And then we get to see everything. And also the relationships with the different people in her life and how it affects her. Yeah. So
are you finished?
Yeah, the script is done.
Yeah.
The first draft is done. I had some meetings with my casting directors.
Great.
And back in New York, and trying to make an offer right now. And so just working on rewrites after this. I'm gonna go work on rewrites, but yes.
No, after your description, I'm already in it. I'm like ready to go and watch it. So it sounds fantastic.
Yeah. And there's more to it, right? But I'm very, very excited. I have some cast attached, which New York actors that
Great.
I
Yeah.
love them
I
very
know
much.
that
Yeah.
rawness is brilliant, isn't it? I love it.
Yeah.
In your experience thus far as a filmmaker, we have a very filmmaking audience, and I'm just curious from your things you've learned, maybe from this film, maybe from your films in the past. Anyone wants to follow in your footsteps? What do you share? What do you go by in your everyday life as a creative person? What kind of advice would you share with the rest of the creative audience?
Yeah, so just do it. There's a lot of fear behind creating art and putting yourself out there. Just go for it. Just write it. You might not achieve what you want at the beginning, but eventually, if you really love it and you apply yourself and you have discipline, then you'll be able to achieve what is it that you want to achieve. So I would say just do it.
Well, you're super talented. I'm so thank you for Shell Shocked. I can't wait for your feature, but thank you so much, honestly, for being here, and we really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Paula, everybody.